I thought when I received that question, I thought it was really interesting because I like really had to go back and think. I'm like, I don't know if I have a life verse. I was like flipping through my Bible and I have seasonal verses. I realized like reflecting on seasons, up until recent years, my seasonal verses have all been like commands or like things to do, like do not be anxious about anything. In everything with thanksgiving, give thanks to God. Like do not conform any longer to a pattern of this world. Fix your eyes on Jesus, like all of these things. And I think a part of that was God teaching me like how to walk with him. But I think I've entered into a season more recently where he has me fixating on his character. And so the passage that I've found myself going back to repeatedly in recent years actually comes from Exodus. And it's the passage where Moses says, "Show me your glory." And God's like, "I will cause my goodness to pass before you. And I will proclaim my name." And so what I love about this is it is God explaining his glory. He is explaining what his glory is to Moses, right? And there's this physical passing of his goodness. And what he says in Exodus 34, starting in verse 6, it says, "And he passed in front of Moses, proclaiming, the Lord, the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation." And what I love about this is, I think the older I get, there's so much about God's ways I don't understand. And there's so much about what I'm supposed to do in following him that I don't understand. I'm like, I don't really know how to do this. It's like, but the thing I've started to cling to is I might not understand what you are doing here. I might not understand how you're gonna work all of this out for the good of those who love you, but what I do know and what I'm gonna cling to is the fact that you have proclaimed that you are Lord, and you're compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. I love that, like overflowing, right? In love and faithfulness. He maintains his love. And I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And the reality is, I don't know how this may work out in this side of heaven. But I do know that no matter what I see happen, you are gracious, you are compassionate, you are faithful, you will maintain your love, you will be faithful to us. And as a part of that love, there is justice that comes with it. And I think with the stories I've heard from people, the things I see my friends walk through, this is something like, it may seem bad, but God's justice is gonna be a part of his love for you and for what's happening. Like, the sins will not go unpunished, and that's gonna be in a full expression of his love. So I find myself like clinging to this verse, and the verse, I think that like this concept of God's graciousness and compassion and kindness, I think I love pairing it with the physical image. I'm gonna give you two seasonal verses, is in Hosea, where God says to Israel, "It was I who taught Ephraim to walk, taking them by the arms, but they did not realize it was I who healed them. I led them," I love this, "I led them with cords of human kindness, with ties of love. I lifted the yoke from their neck and bent down to feed them." And that image he gives us, I think like of a parent, like literally, like come here, and the little wobbly, God from on high bends down, has bent down and continues to bend down, and he looks at me and he looks at people I know, and he takes our arms and he teaches us how to walk through these seasons. And that is our loving and gracious and compassionate Father. And so that I cling to because there's so little else that I know and understand in this world, and that's been like this season of like what really grounds and roots me.